Today's presenter is Miss Mr. Denison.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I will start my progress report. And in the last seminar, Professor Deguchi called me to focus on the history of the group immunization. So I searched for some data and found there are two main changes in the history of influenza infection in Japan. The first is from 1994 and the second is from 2001. Why this change had happened? First, from 1994 can summarize as this one, because there is such patient was the effectiveness of influenza vaccination. Okay. And in this time, a serious paper had published. The second one from 2001. Because in this time, depending on the evaluation of the mass influenza vaccination campaign, because this campaign take effective, so the government changed the policy, provide subsidy to the old from the 2001. And maybe everyone remember that in 2009, there was the H1N1 influenza in all the world. So from 2010, the vaccination subsidy had expanded to some extent. So my research focused on the effective analysis of a major type of public health service, vaccination subsidy with ADM approach. The problem in the reality is the influenza infection rate is high, but the immunization rate is low. And we use ADM to solve the problem. As it's known to all in our life, we have gotten a lot of programs about city model and infection model. So my aim is to aid my immunization model into the whole model. And in the model, each agent holds a series of variables as a member in the society system. They have the age, social reaction, action pattern, and health condition. Connect with the health condition, they have the pollution rate, infection rate, infection period, and illness load, a series of variables. Connect with the immunization. The acceptable criteria showed and trust towards vaccination effectiveness. In the model, all the people or the agent is divided into the three parts: the stable, positive test, and normal. And this is a flow chart about vaccination judgment. If a person does not belong to the stable or positive test, the normal person will back to the daily life and obey on this flow chart to judge whether to get vaccination or not. Expected value is a way to combine payoffs and probabilities for each agent. So we use a decision tree to judge the awareness of immunization for every agent. And depending on this formula, the agent to choose whether to vaccination or not. Although I think about to take the case in China about the data as a little bit of pity, I can't got the data. So I choose the place in Japan. Why I choose the Kumamoto? Because it holds the lowest immunization rate in 2011. So I simulated the immunization process in Kikuchi, Kumamoto. We found the result without scenario is appropriate with the reality. I show it here, the real reality. And this is the simulation result. And from the October 2011, the Kumamoto can introduce the children influenza vaccination subsidy. So we introduced such a scenario to my model and got the result. We found that for the age of people from 1 year old to 14 years old, the scenario got some progress. The immunization rate has improved. The result is a little bit different with the mathematic models. Depending on the mathematic model, reducing 1,000 yen the price results in 9% immunization rate of rats as a whole. Because my model focuses on the different group of people, so this is why the model is different with the mathematic model. And actually, in this year, the subsidy have changed. I simulated the part from the 2010 and 2011 and found that the introducing of such subsidy to the children have got some progress. But in this year, actually in the last month, the subsidy had changed. My model here, they provide the subsidy instead of children influenza vaccine subsidy, they provide it to all the residents. So, why they change the subsidy? I think maybe because the introducing of the subsidy bring benefit to the government. But the real data can be gotten in the next year, February. So in the next year, I will check whether my simulation is right or wrong.
It's all residents means from 1 year old to 65 years old.
Here, the already didn't hear because
Over 65 years old.
here young beyond 65 years old, because this subsidy is provided by the country government, like but this subsidy provided by the local government. And consider the subsidy has changed in reality, so I designed the scenario 2. And we found that the increase of the immunization rate will derive the decrease for the other group of people. From the existing model, we know that the immunization module is expected to be applied universally, and a reasonable scenario is powerful to enlarge the immunization rate on the premise of infection control. And for me, the next step is to lead in profit calculation and balance the trade-off relationship between the immunization rate and vaccination price to benefit the vast majority of people. And to access the real case, I experienced the influenza immunization last week in Japan. I live here between the Machitashi and Yokohama, and I searched some data around me. And I list some hospital I checked before. And by the way, I chose this one in the end. This is not the cheapest one, but maybe just because the doctor in this hospital can speak Chinese, so I chose this one. And I searched the reality, the price of immunization vaccine vary a big way in different hospitals. I conclude that all the old over 65 years old hold the vaccination subsidy. The price is regulated by each municipality government or the local government. Some local government provide subsidy to the other group of people, such as child in primary school, and every hospital decided the quarter vaccination by itself. Average in Japan, hospital, the average here, you can see it. The hospital is 3,168 yen, and for the clinic, it's cheaper than the hospital. I have pointed to it in the last time that I summarized the relationship between the country government, the local government, and hospital vaccination manufacturers. If the loss has happened, the country takes twice responsibilities, and the local governments take 1/4 responsibilities here. This is the trade-off relationship between the investment government and the compensation loss. The profit calculation can be summarized as this one, depending on the real case. And now, in the reality, the relationship cannot be organized well, not only in Japan but also in China. Actually, Japan is better in China because the supply is also bigger than the consumption. I listed such graph in the first slide I showed here. And this result in the influenza vaccination was 240 billion yen was disposed in Japan in 2010. And in this process, the government lost 92 billion yen. I think this shows the government of the not the local government, the country government lose 92 billion yen. Most of hospitals encounter deficit in influenza immunization programs. This is the reality. And my next step focuses on the reasonable vaccination subsidy. What is the reasonable vaccination subsidy? It must benefit the vast majority of people and contribute to high immunization rate for disease control and avoid bringing financial burden to the hospital, balance the investment of government and immunization rate. I calculate the compensation loss depending on my model, and from the calculation we know that the profit of hospital, local government, and country government restrict each others. And it is hard to say which subsidy is better to benefit every group in the system. So the next for me is to lead in the standards to evaluate the effectiveness of subsidy programs. And depending on the real case, I will design a reasonable scenario to enlarge the immunization rate on the premise of infection control and decrease the loss of government as soon as possible. Finally, consider the immunization management tactic of each hospital. So this is the reference, and thank you for your attention.
Have you any question or comments?
So I have two questions. First, please show the first of the slide, the number of vaccination through the years. This one. So you could explain. It's quite a strange curve in real life. Why do you take this? Why do you get this data?
Where is here. Analysis of influenza vaccination from the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare in 2012. Maybe in February, I remember, this year.
Do you have any explanation or evidence on this strange curve? This like this?
In this graph.
Yeah, it's strange, right? Because normally the subsidy of influenza virus will increase from the past to the future. Yeah. Why is it very low?
I mean here, at least a series of paper here. Because
What
in
happened
these times,
Uh-huh.
there was some research to show that the influenza vaccination is in vain. So, actually in this time, a lot of papers to show this, or to point out that. But actually, the consideration cannot be certificated.
So it's like a. Okay. So there's a big revolution in 1994.
Here, the main reason here, I think, is the government canceled the subsidies in 1994 here. So it's probably the lowest one in the history.
How about the number of study in 2009? What happened?
Me here,
Yeah.
each one. You remember here.
At the low,
Um,
nine,
This one is a little bit
2009
different.
one.
2009 here.
what happened?
Each one and one the breakout in influenza.
So the
Because in this time, the new type of influenza, this huge influenza has broke out. So the
why the supply of influenza vaccine reduced in 2009?
because
Any-
the
any-
new type of influenza, to deal with this new type of influenza, the vaccination cannot be provided well in this time. Because in 2009, the vaccination has been produced in 2008,
Yes, that's right.
and they never think about in 2009 the new type of influenza will break out. So in this time, they have no effective vaccination.
Okay, the logic is that
Here,
the number of the number of vaccine is produced based on the
last year,
consumption, right?
yeah,
So in 2008,
here,
the number of vaccine is bigger than 2007. So normally in next year they will produce more vaccine.
Actually, the supply is not just depending on the data from the last year. It also depends on the pandemic, prediction the last year. So, although I cannot get the real reason here, but I think this may be because in 2008, some professors think in the next year there will be a huge influenza, so they want to decrease here.
So yeah, if this graph is true, then well, we can see a very big mistake. Ministry of Labor right? Because
You mean in this year?
Yeah.
Actually, in this year, because the new type of influenza, not just in Japan, also in another part in the world, they make a mistake in this year, because we cannot control the new type.
Yeah, but it was a big mistake.
You mean they provide?
Yeah.
I think
although-
because
yeah.
I personally think that's because the vaccine is not produced just in one time. It's produced in the whole year.
Yeah.
So in 2009, when they see that the virus has been outbreaking everywhere, so they might produce some amount in the January, but they decided because say in February the outbreak has occurred, then they decided to produce less in March. That's it. I think that could explain.
It takes at least 6 months to produce.
Oh. Yep. Or say from January and July, I think it can happen.
You cannot get the clear reason here, but I mean the most probability the new type of influenza is a main reason.
We should have some evidence there. Okay, so the second question is that, well, we have several scenarios. In those scenarios, you reduce the subsidy or increase the subsidy. Then, which parameters in the model is changed?
Here, the subsidy and non-subsidy, the price is different.
Which is right. Okay, Spain and
This is a middle one, the subsidy cost.
CS. I mean the logic. So if the cost is reduced,
Here,
then what parameter is changed and what
this one will change.
Okay.
CS,
CS change and then what change? In consequence, which parameters have changed? And for example, probability of taking a vaccine is reduced or something like that. So it's quite difficult equation. So if C, for example, if CST reduced, then which parameter reduced?
if it's reduced, and will not affect another one, just depending on this one. If the CS reduced, the here the whole function will increase
Okay.
and the result will change. Depending on the change of the result, the vaccination awareness will be changed
Vaccination awareness is changed.
here.
So vaccination awareness changed, then what parameter changed? Yes.
Actually, this one CS and the sub and without subsidy here. Because the government just can control the subsidy and without subsidy, the group of people, and here the CS, the cost of the subsidy.
So can you return to the previous slide? So where is the vaccination awareness?
This is the charge here. We use the decision tree to judge the awareness of people, and if the condition can be satisfied, and vaccination or not.
So let's see, this is not, maybe it's not called the others. Okay, let's see. So looks like this. Okay, I understand. So, because you have, in your presentation, you explain a lot of things, about the influenza subsidy and the immunization rates in the macro level. This is high, but why this is low? So we want to identify what factors make this relation causes immunization. So we go into micro level. We include parameter vaccination awareness in the micro level. So the things that you have to explain the logic when the subsidy is well, for example, government changes the price of the vaccine. Subsidy in this case is increased or reduced. Then what parameters in the micro level in the agents parameters of agent change, and this is maybe cause this change. For example, vaccination awareness, and the probability of people of agents to taking vaccination increase. So it will aggregate in the macro level the change of the immunization rate. So this kind of logic is very important because when anyone who listens to your presentation can understand the logic of the matter. It's more important than those kind of data and those kinds of facts.
I got it.
Okay, that's it.
Any questions?
It's not really related to your research, but how effective is influenza vaccination is, and what does it cover?
I mean here.
Yes. What kind of influenza vaccine?
The seasonal influenza.
Sorry?
Seasonal influenza here, and if you want to ask this part, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's better to see the reference at least in the first one here because it's a leading research from the Deguchi Lab.
Another comment is that your parameters are vaccination awareness. About the naming of it, I think it's a little hard to understand. For example, if you were me, I would name it like vaccination satisfaction or something like that. Because, for example, me, when I go to hospital, take influenza vaccination, as I am a student, so I guess some kind of subsidy. For example, normal people have to pay 3,000, but I am a student and I'm less than 30 years old. Then I can get a vaccine shot for 1,000, for example. So this is change the satisfaction of me on those policies of the government. I think it's very good for me, so I will take a shot. But for the same agents, but for the other students, we can get money. But they should think maybe they think that because we are students, we have no salary, so we should take a shot for free. So different agents have a different satisfaction on that policy, on the amount of the vaccination cost. So awareness means that I know that influenza vaccination is good for me, I know that, but in fact that I can afford it or not, and have money to take a shot or not. This is different problem. So satisfaction,
Satisfaction.
satisfaction. I mean, I think is a better name for it. Anyway,
Actually,
awareness
this
means
is
that.
not universal in.
So it's your parameters in your model. You can.
Change another way to.
So explain that this is the satisfaction of agents on the current subsidy of vaccination. Because our awareness means that I know it or not. That's right.
Yeah.
So even I know it, even I know that vaccination is good for me, but I cannot afford it. For example, 3,000 or 5,000. I know it's good, but I know it's good. That means I have the awareness of it,
Yeah.
about it, but I cannot afford it. This is different problem. So maybe a good name for the parameters is better for the other people to understand it more.
Yeah, I see.
Any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you. Next presenter is Mr. Yaki-sama.
Good afternoon. Today I'd like to present about my progress. First, I'd like to speak about my research background. According to Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, the number of people who use internet is increasing, and under that situation, people who search their house with internet is increasing. And house advertising companies like Sumo is actually not a company. But Sumo or Homes get profit from requests for information materials by their customers. And for these companies, we can consider that bringing their customers to their sites and websites and making it easy to use their website can be increase their profit. And to bring their customers to their own websites, product listing ADS and search engine optimization and advertisement banner may be effective. And this is a picture of the search result of 賃貸 and from here to here companies can pay for advertisement for particular keywords, and from in here with the in here companies can design their homepage to go top of search result. And purpose of my research is in my research I assume that product listing aid is search engine optimization and make it easy to use their sites effective strategy to correct people searching information about house. And my research purpose is to analyze that how to distribute their advertisement fund to these three methods, and support decision making of strategic adoption for house advertising companies. This is my research's whole image. People who search house information go search engine to and search some keywords and go company sites and request for information material. And search engine provides search result and ADS. House advertising company can do product listing ADS and SEO, search engine optimization, to increase usability of sites. And these two strategies effective here, and increasement of usability of site effects here to here. And until last seminar, I made simple model of keyword targeted advertisement. This means product listing ADS. And in last seminar, I make the model to my model can set number of companies freely, but number of keywords was only one, and types of users was also only one. And in that model, several companies put their information of name and CPC and limit cost per day to search engine, and search engine makes ADS advertisement lists, and users who search their house see that list and go company site. And now progress is that make it free to set number of keywords and types of users, and also I enable to calculate cost, CPA, and benefit in each keyword, so companies can know which keyword is effective to collect or to get profit. And in this model, keyword spot gets CPC and limit cost per day from each company and make ADS list according to their CPC, cost per click. And there are several types of users, and each type of user has conversion rate, and number of type of agent, and each keyword they search on search engine. And in this model, I put some type of agent and some keywords, and their relation is 1-to-1. So, for example, agent type A only search the keyword A, and in here they see the advertisement list and go company site. And agent type of B search only keyword B. But in the real world, it is not normal that each agent has conversion rate. Normally, in the real world, keyword has conversion rate in the area of web marketing. And relation between keyword and user is not 1-to-1. I saw the footstep data. That means how to act the users on web space, what keywords they search or which site they went. And in that data, agents show some kinds of running through the searching action. Here I show the example how to change a searching action. For example, this is one of the user, and first he search Kanazawa City and house lease, and this 数もイノベーション志向でなんとか不動産リノベーションランキング石川学生数もalmost all agents makes the searching action separately many times, and they change their searching keyword. So to solve this problem, I will change my model structure and I will think like state transition of user searching action. と this each node shows what type of keyword they search, and like this sample, they will transition. They will have transition of the state with the particular probability. And now I'm thinking, for example, this node is big word. Big word means word which is many times searched by user. And maybe next they will search big word and some particular city or somewhat. And maybe next more additional keyword or something. So I have lastly my to-do is rebuild the model, because I will change the structure or concept of my model. So I have to rebuild the model, and also to know how is the probability of changing the state, or how many times agent do such action normally, or I have to formulateわかんないや、関数化しなくちゃいけないんで、formulate all probability or something. So I have to analyze deeply the user's sample data to know which keyword can be a same cluster or make a function of user state transition and difference of CVR in different time. And lastly, maybe I will start to write master thesis. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Do you have questions, complaints?
What is big for?
Big word is Japanese English, and
What does it mean?
it means many users search on the web, search on like Google.
Do you mean like a word that is commonly used and has general meanings, or?
Yes. It is common words in the field of web marketing.
Sometimes you visit the website and then have a tag cloud. You know, tag cloud. For example, there's a tag cloud, and the big tag means that this tag is the most the they have the most frequency of searching.
Yeah, like if a lot of people focus on this one and the big word will appear in the top page.
No.
Or become the hot issue.
Have the most frequency of,
For example,
of being searched.
If I want to search my house, maybe firstly I will search Chintai,
What does it mean?
this house.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, got it.
Or if people want to eat dinner or in search for dinner, such restaurant,
So
maybe
restaurant is the
restaurant
big
or
word.
jalan or jalanチェック、就活とか。
Definition.
Definition.
What is definition of a big word?
Big word is some trend word, so maybe there are not so concrete definition. まあこれは例です。大体こんなのがあるだろうな。
決めなくていい。
これから何をビッグワードとするかはデータを分析して決めます。ビッグワードっていうか、ビッグワードっていうくくりは良くないと思うんですけど、大体みんなが最初に検索するであろう言葉みたいなのを1個のクラスターみたいなまとまりにしたりとか、その後は大体そういう大きな、賃貸だったら賃貸っていう言葉と地名とかを一緒に検索するかもしれないなとかっていうのをデータを元に作っていきます。
5個じゃなくてもっと増えるかもしれない
かもしれないし、でもあんまり増えすぎても良くないかもしれないから、これはもうデータを分析しないとなんとも言えないっていうことです。結構なんかたまに一回数問戻ってきたりとかもしてたりするんで、もちろん同じキーワードで何回も検索する人もいるし、変わる人もいるんで、戻ったりする人もいるんで、っていうのを全部数式化して関数化してデータからっていうのをやります。
I wonder in the reality if I search in 近代鈴掛台 the result is the same as I search 鈴掛台地。
ね、
結果は一緒。
多分同じです。あれ違うのかわかんない。順番は関係あるのかな。
Is this a result of your model or is this your proposition?
ポジションって
I mean you're suggesting that this is the behavior of
何ですか。
the searching.
My assumption.
Okay.
I'm working on the analyzing the data, real data.
Okay.
So I have to check is it the right or
No, and then I don't understand why can't it. I mean, what are you actually doing with this assumption? Say I'm in Google and searching Chintai, then I will arrive at Chintai Suzukakide, or what do you mean by that?
This is user's searching action.
So okay, so
We
firstly I will
change.
try to write Chintai, for example, and then I will next search for Chintai Suzukakide.
My assumption
Uh,
with the probability.
Is that two separate action or like
Each searching action is separated and
so the agent first search for Chintai, and then the agent search for Chintai Suzukake-dai, and then search for, say, Comfort Asahina, and then search for Chintai again.
Every agent makes different action
Okay.
on the web. So analyze the all data and analyze all users' action
Okay.
and make with how probability they will change their searching action,
Oh, okay.
or it can be able to not start from here.
Okay, I get it.
I don't know how, not yet know how agent, how user act.
I see.
I have two questions. First, in this in this state transition flowchart, why there's an error from 5 to 1? I mean, for example, 2 to 3 to 1. He will search, for example, an agent search Chintai Suzukake-dai pet, and then in what logic that he will come back to Chintai?
Actually, there are no logic. Now I cannot decide. My imagine is only that there are some transition of user searching action. So actually these examples are not make any meaning.
Yeah, but so my point is that actually there's no reason that he will come back to a big word Chintai. For example, one agent wants to hire an apartment, but that he can live with his pet, and first he can Chintai and Suzukake-dai, okay? And he find that for example, conform Asahina, this apartment is they are low, okay? But then he was a Chintai conform Asahina. So maybe there is a state transition from 3 to 4, but there's no transition from 3 to 1. Yeah.
Yes.
And 4 to 1, I guess. It can't be happen.
These examples are confusing. あんましここは適当に書いただけなのでちょっとユーザーの検索コードを、まとまりにして表すことができて、その中で状態遷移的なものがあるんじゃないかということで。
So I think the point that there's a relation between the search keywords and conversion rate is a very big point in research. I think that is a good point. How about, because in several in your previous reports, you have said about estimation of characteristics of agents. For example, an agent search in the daylight from this time to this time, maybe she's a housewife, and based on the list of items that she choose, you can get an assumption that she's a housewife of a household which is have annual salaries of $30,000 or something like that. Do you have said about that? How about
Currently in my model, I don't consider about
their money?
I don't consider about the user's character. For
How
example,
researching
how is the age of agent user, or what is their job or something. I don't consider. Only
Searching
want to
keywords.
know, how to search and how to change their searching action.
One comments that maybe you should have one slide of background. This slide you can use every time for a progress report or a presentation of thesis or so on. This is the whole image of the flow of information and the flow of money between users, searching sites, for example, Google's, and advertising company, Homes or Sumo, and real estate agency, and house owners. For example, I just write this here. There's a flow of several agents. Several stakeholders at Google, and for the Home and Sumo, and several estate agencies in here. And below this estate agency, there are a lot of house owners. And one agent click on the advertising list of Google, then information will go to Homes and Sumo, and they have a lot of items in here. And when they click on the item and request for the information, then the information flow will go from house owners to the estate agency, and goes to homes and goes to users. This kind of information flow. And one is the seiyaku, one is the keyaku. That means has been, for example, it has been signed. Then user have to pay the money to the household making, for the estate agency for Tetsuyo. And when the transaction has been signed, and money will go from householders to the estate agency, and from the estate agency to Homes or Sumo. And Homes Sumo have to pay listing advertising fee to Google. So those kind of flow of information and flow of money in your whole model. Is that exchange?
Do I have to write such detailed whole?
Yeah, because not everyone knows. Everyone knows about listing advertising and advertising in real estate agencies. So there's a whole pictures explain the background of the researchers. I think it's very useful for every time of your presentation. You can use it many times. So.
はい。Thank you for your comments.
So I think there's two flows of money and flow of information between those items.
Thank you.
Any questions, friends?
状態遷移図で書く意味っていうか、
なんかこの前出口先生に状態遷移図じゃないって怒られたんですけど、まあイメージです。
他にその書く方法っていうのが適した方法ですね。
多分あると思います。なんか式で書いちゃうとか、ちょっとまだこの辺詰めが甘いところなんで、これから考えてきたことが。
ステートチャンジション、状態遷移図っていうのは完全にこの状態からこの状態に移動する、あるいはなんだろう、この確実、要は確実に飛んでいくっていうのがちゃんとあれば状態遷移で表示するんですけど、この場合は八木さんがキーワードとコンバージョンレートでしょ。このキーワードを検索したらこの確率でなんか情報を要求しそうなだったらテーブルで見るリーストキーワードとそのコンバージョンレートでも確実にこのステートからこのステートに移行する可能性があるっていうそれを示す証拠っていうかエビデンスがあったら状態遷移、それの確実性がなければ
これから全部
遷移図ではないんですよね。
これから全部関数化する予定です。全部の線に確率とかを当てはめたりとか数式とか当てはめたりとかっていうのをこれからする予定です。
その確実性は
データからっていうデータによるとみたいな感じで
先生も状態遷移図じゃない僕もそうじゃないです。
その辺勉強します。
例えばインフルエンザの場合さ、菌がかかったら確実に発症するわけじゃん。それ発症するレベルはいくつ分けられても菌をもらったらそれワクチンが打ってなければ確実に移行する。この状態にからこの状態だけど、例えば続けない賃貸続けないから確実に賃貸続けないペットなんとかに行く確実性は多分少ないと思う、ないと思うんだよね。なので状態遷移では
5から2にとかそういうこともあり得るですね。
あります。
ってことは
まあ今のところ全部の方向に全部矢印がある状態です。
あとこの状態遷移で考えると状態が無限に近いでしょ。一人の検索キーワード違う。
それを検索キーワードをある程度まとめていく。例えばここぐらいの塊に全てのワードをここぐらいにクラスタリングしてあげて当てはめる。どこの状態、その状態っていうとどこにいるか。書き方は直します。
Any questions, points?
Thank you for your